This is a little movie about some of our adventures in the Everglades National Park and why we go up there. First, we like to see the sunrise. Not too many sunsets, but we enjoy the weather. Sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes you get some nice big storms to try and avoid. Mostly, though, what we like to do is be able to zoom around in the water there. It's fairly shallow for the most part in our little boat and try to explore little different nooks and crannies to try and find fish and see other sights. One of the ways we go is called the Joe River, and this winds its way through the Everglades for maybe about 10 miles. And so we take this quite often to get to the other side of where we usually like to fish on Whitewater Bay. Sometimes Whitewater Bay gets really rough, hence its name, Whitewater. Sometimes we've gone across that with the waves just sort of breaking over the front of the boat and swamping us. Had to turn the bilge pump on a couple of times. But it's all good adventure, and we really enjoy that. Off to the left there, you saw that splash? That's a dolphin. He was using the waterway too. As far as fishing, the fish we like to catch are usually found in shallow water. This is a redfish. You got to be careful though. You get into shallow places and the tide goes out. You don't want to be stuck up on the mud. This is a foggy morning. We were out looking for some snooks up against the shoreline. They like to hide in the mangroves. A lot of places where the fish are, we go at low tide, and what that does is it pulls the fish out into the water where you might be able to actually get a chance to catch one. Once the tide gets high, they hide up in those branches there. This is a little sea trout that Archie had me cast to, and I actually caught it on the first cast. This is a big snook Arch caught. This was our prize fish of the year. And of course, there's tarpon. This is a fairly medium-sized tarpon, and he put up a good fight. Jumped, and we put him back in, and he swam away. The other thing we like to do is look at the birds. These are white pelicans, roseate spoonbills. We haven't seen too many of those. That's a pretty special sighting. Lots of ibis. They use those long curved beaks to kind of poke around in the mud and find good things to eat. And the cormorants. They actually dive into the water and swim underwater to catch little fish to eat. Believe it or not, we see a lot of raccoons out on the islands. They usually are grubbing around there in low tide looking for little shellfish to eat. Crocodiles are around, and alligators. Now, this little alligator decided he was going to go fishing with us, so he followed us right beside the boat for a while. And we decided maybe he wasn't the best fishing buddy, so we went ahead of him and tried to turn him around, since he was probably scaring the fish that we also wanted to catch. So I splashed him with the pole, and he took off, or so I thought. I got us turned around again and back fishing, and then Archie got a shot of him. There he was again, right behind us. So, well, he had his mind set on where he was going to go. This was a raccoon we saw swimming over to a different island. I guess he thought there must have been better goodies over there. But we find them way, way out on the islands, just literally miles from any fresh water. So they actually get some of their fresh water from the dewdrops that are on the mangroves. One of the other very special things are the dolphins out in the Everglades. We see them a lot, and they always seem like they want to come and play with the boat, but we never could quite figure out what to do until really this trip. And we got going about 10 miles an hour, and that was just the right speed for them. And they got up and under the front of the bow of the boat and would go back and forth and back and forth. These two also decided they were going to do little jumps off to either side. So they kept ahead of the boat here, going like this for, well, about a minute or so, and we were going off into some safe water, so we were able to keep going with them and watch them go back and forth. Quite the sight. One of them was bigger than the other. It might have been like the smaller one was maybe a yearling or something like that. But they looked like they were having fun, and we sure had fun watching them. And in the Everglades, there's even a flower or two. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed your little trip with us to Everglades National Park.